Student mental health is something that is becoming more and more important today. Students and staff may seem to be stressed out or depressed about a lot of things and are scared to speak out or may seem scared to speak out about their feelings. So today we'll be interviewing staff and students about student mental health and what their thoughts and opinions are on and how we could maybe fix this problem in our community. That's it.
I believe it is easy times to spot a stressed out student. Other times they mask being stressed out. Sometimes they will verbally tell you, but it is a predicament that we have because we are not totally trained to be a counselor. I feel that the current situation of student mental health mirrors the current situation of teacher mental health. Our society is very stressed out with all the digital devices. It's not helping the situation, what has gone on here. I would advise students to speak to counselors or trusted adults to help them if I think that they are struggling. Sometimes I've made that suggestion and students deflect it and say, no, I'm not stressed out, I don't need to talk to anybody, or I'm already talking to somebody, which is a good thing if they are talking to somebody already. I do feel I have a close connection with most of my students. I just have received a new batch within the last 6 weeks, 2 new classes. So I'm working on building relationships with those students. I feel like most of my students would be able to come to me for help. We as a community at Waltrip, to help us speak up about student mental health and teacher mental health, is just to make it part of the dialogue. Maybe use the announcements as a platform, use the class circles as a platform, use do-nows, journal writing, reflections, exit tickets, posters around the school. Those would be maybe my suggestions for speaking up about mental health issues.
As a student, I don't really feel like it's easy to talk to people, like to talk to counselors about how you're feeling, because sometimes like the counselor will dismiss it as something like that can be easily written off. So like say you're feeling stressed, you have a lot of work, they'll tell you, oh, well maybe you should stay at their class, or maybe you should do this, or maybe like they'll try and give you simple solutions to a problem that sometimes is more complicated than that. Sometimes it isn't just stress, but it's more of the fact that work is piled on, like sometimes daily, and you feel like if you fail one class or make one bad grade that everything is gonna go wrong because they make it out to seem that way. If I was feeling stressed, I probably wouldn't go to a counselor, because I feel like they tell you. If I was feeling stressed, like as a student, I probably wouldn't talk to a counselor about something. I feel like talking to a teacher and you see like daily and talk to like daily and you have a good relationship with, I feel like that's easier than talking to a counselor, because you rarely do some people ever see the counselor or have a relationship with the counselor. So talking to somebody who's a bit foreign to you in terms of telling them how you feel, it's a bit hard for somebody to talk to them about something that's going on in their life. So for me and as a student, I feel talking to a teacher is better than anything else. About the situation, like about stuff that's going on in school, I feel like it's not taken too serious. I feel like they wrote it off as like, we just need a conference with the kids and that's it. They didn't properly like address anything in terms of what they're gonna do. And I feel like what they said they were going to do it didn't feel like they cared. It felt like they're just trying to get a lawsuit off their hands or something, and they're not trying to get in more trouble than they already are in terms of like keeping up with the kids' health. So I feel like they should be more direct and seem more caring towards wanting to fix and help the kids with these situations. Because I mean, putting up posters around the school or like little signs and stuff, that doesn't help like at all. Like I could be like starving myself at home. And if I see that, like, that's not gonna make my day any better. That's just gonna, like, I'm gonna see that and I'm gonna keep walking. Nobody even stops to look at that. It's a really packed school. Nobody stops to look at any of that. So that doesn't help.
So if you were to ask me if it's easy to spot a stressed out student, I think the first thing that we need to do as teachers is be sure we're greeting our students. I always try to greet our students by their names, check in with them, see how they're doing, to make them feel like they're noticed, they're an individual. And that check-in of just saying, hello Samuel, how you doing, is a really good way to see, are they doing okay, are they doing not so. For the current situation on mental health, I do believe in the past 6 to 8 years, there's been more of an impetus to bring about this subject, to call more attention to it, to bring more social emotional learning into the classroom, which I think is really, really good. I think recently we've sort of ramped up our efforts in light of the tragic events that have happened, and I think that's a very, very good thing. If you're ever feeling stressed out, I would recommend talking to someone that is a trusted adult. It could be a counselor, it could be a social worker, it could be an administrator, or just a teacher that you feel a connection with. We are all here to help our kids in every way that we possibly can. And just coming in and saying, hey, I'm not having a very good day. We're really good at listening. We can give you advice. We can just listen. We can be an ear to vent into. It's whatever you need us to be. We're here for you guys. And I personally feel that I have pretty close connections with my kids. I always have my door propped open. I always have kids coming in to talk, even if it's just about their artwork or their day or things that's going on at home. I feel that I have a pretty close connection with most of my kids that they could come and talk to me. For our community, I really think that we just need to spend more time together physically, spending time together. I think we kind of get sucked into our phones and social media and we forget how to interact with people. I think as a community, if we can promote more events where we're having genuine social interactions to make people feel like they're physically a part of a group, I think that's a really good way to improve student mental health.